Hello, parents and students. Parents, if you're listening to this, that means you encourage your student to sit down and make sure they write down some notes from this week's lesson. This week's lesson is a live recording from one of my classes. I recorded the actual lesson, so you'll hear some interaction from students. However, I want to encourage the students to make sure you have all these notes because you may see this on the end of the year test for this class. So parents, make sure your student copies the notes. I hope you guys enjoy and learn something. All right, so um, here's the deal. We are going to focus um, on, let me see, what was the focus? I'll show it to you in a second. Oh, we're going to focus on pre-production and the planning, okay? And I'm going to talk to you guys about how I only had a few days with her on this, okay? And I got this done even in my busyness. I took the time to do this, okay? So I'm not just asking you to do work that I didn't try to do yet myself. I'm doing the assignments with you. But I want to give you advice on how to do this. Answer this UEQ, please. It says, what are the essentials to the pre-production of a report? Or what are the essentials to a pre-production? What are the steps to creating and planning a report? What are the steps to creating and planning a report? When I start talking again, you can continue writing because we're going to have dialogue about this because you should know this. Some of you may have forgotten, but you should know it. All right, I'm going to begin. If you're still writing, continue writing. Okay. So, what are the essentials, Riley? What are the essentials? Okay. Okay. Kyler. Okay. Zach.
I put like the correct budgeting and investment.
Okay. Okay. Josh.
Put the budget and scripts.
Okay. Ted. Okay. And all that's correct. Okay. Pre-production is the most. Write this down. I'm going to tell you. I'm trying to tell you things that you should write down. Pre-production is the most important phase. Pre-production is the most important phase. It's the most important part of the production. If your pre-production, um, if your pre-production uh, is good, then your production and post-production is going to be really smooth. If your pre-production is not good, your production and post-production is not going to be good. Okay? And I don't mean just good because you did it. We have for a long time produced things good to get say I did it. I'm talking about done with excellence, guys. Done to the point that people are amazed at your work. Okay? I did that report good at my level, not at your level. At my level, I did that report that you just saw good. There was nothing really amazing about it. But if I took more time, because I took time, but if I took more time, I think it would be really amazing. And that's what I want you to do, because you can do it. Okay? But it starts with your pre-production, guys. Without strong plans, your production will fail. Write that down. Without strong plans, your production will fail. So, what does that mean, Chase?
Well, if you can't plan ahead, then nobody's going to know what to do ahead, and everybody's going to be confused, and that will waste time, and you won't get your production.
Correct. Um, those who plan ahead will succeed. Those who plan ahead will succeed. Using all the essential tools to planning a report. So here are some essential tools for planning a report. Researching the topic. Write that down. Researching the topic. Okay? A lot of times when you guys write your scripts for your reports or your shows, you don't do a lot of research. And I think one day we're going to go over how to research. We're going to go over how to research in here. We're going to look at some of the standards to see if it lines up with, to talk about how to do a really good research. Okay? There are search engines out there that you can use to find certain topics. Okay? And I'll just throw this out here before, without going into more details. You have to learn how to narrow down your topic. So when you throw out a research, there's the thing what you have to do where you narrow down what it is that you want. You have to figure out what's the main point that I want to drive home. What's the main point that I want to drive home? Okay? Contacting reliable resources. You should write that down. Contacting reliable resources. So there are people out there that can give you information to help you with your report. That's the time that you guys are living in. There are people out there that can give you information to help you with your report. So contacting reliable resources. So yes, you can do research. You can go use the different search engines, but you also have people that can help your report. So just don't get stuck on the search engines. Contact different people, okay? When you're doing your academic reports or your different reports for your shows, a lot of times you guys have ways to talk to teachers, the people that you probably don't care to talk to, but there are teachers that can help you with some of these reports. All you have to do is ask. They'll help you because they're the experts. That's why they're teaching it, whether you think so or not. Okay? I already talked about reliable search engines. Make sure you know these different search engines. Okay? We'll go over that another day. Deciding the main point. Writing your script. So deciding the main point, you should write that down. You should decide what is the main point that I want to cover in this. Okay? For example, when we look at it, hopefully everyone still has their paper about the Bill of Rights. There are several. There are 10. Okay? You have a minute report that you have to do. You heard what Kate did. So what are you going to do? What's your main point? How are you going to drive this home? Okay? Write your script. And here's something I've never really said, and it's hit me after bringing Miss Cassidy in. I think you guys met her. She didn't really talk much to your class, but until the end she did. Don't try to memorize your script. You don't have to write that, but don't try to memorize your script. Here's a tip, okay? And I use this when I'm doing production. I used to say memorize your script, but I don't even memorize my script. I set points that will help me memorize the main points. So it's like an outline. So yes, you still should write a script. I'm not saying don't write a script. You still need to write your script. But after you write your script so that you can memorize it, find highlight points of words or phrases that will help you memorize it so that when you stand in front of the camera, these different little points will help you drive your script home. So your script might be your first draft. Your final draft is going to be these points that will help you drive this home to help you memorize it, because it is hard to memorize an entire script. Okay? I've seen people do it, but it is hard. Okay? Practice your script. Most of you hate practicing your script. You rather just get in front of the camera and film, but you don't know it. So you spent precious time out there with something you don't know. It's okay to have your phone, but if you practice before you walk in this door and you're prepared, it's like you're studying a test. When you study, most of you do really well. Most of you pass 100%. It's the same concept. If you practice it, if you study the material, when you walk through the doors, you get with the camera person, your editor, you can knock it out and get it done with decent time. So please write down practice, practice, practice 3 times. Practice, practice, practice. Make sure you have the right emotions behind your report. Okay? Make sure you have the right emotions behind your report. What do you think that means, Ileana? You want help? Eli.
So, like, if it was like a sad topic when you were X, what an X is happening,
Okay? Okay. Riley.
Like, if you're talking about 9/11, you're not going to be like, today, 365 people died.
Correct. Correct. Okay. Those are, can you get the door for Sebastian? Those are great examples. Okay. Making sure you have the right emotion behind the report. Okay. Charisma and personality. Make sure you have charisma and personality. Write that down. Charisma and personality. What's charisma, Isaac?
It's like where you're like kind of happy, but you're not like overexcited.
Okay. Right, Reagan. Okay, that's a good way to explain it. Yes. Alexia. Huh?
We're all like, we have charisma. It's very infectious. It carries on to all the people. Yeah. Like,
Okay. Kenna.
having like enthusiasm.
Yeah. Yeah. So a charismatic person is a type of person, like she said, like those 3, and some of you in here, is a person when they walk in the room, all the attention comes on them. They don't even have to try. Okay? Those are usually also in the school, those are usually the bad kids. In a classroom, they're the class clowns. And I'm saying most of the time. That's why I'm doing that. Okay. But for the most part, those are people, when they walk in a room, everyone knows that they're there. When they're not here, everyone knows that they're not there. Because they're outgoing. So when you're in front of the camera, here's what I want you guys to work on. Some of you do this, even with these weekly reports. Josh, can you sit up for me? Thank you, sir. Most of you, when you're standing in front of the camera, yes, I know you don't like being in front of the camera. Don't do it just to get a grade, because you're going to hurt yourself. Because remember, I'm grading hard. Okay? But do it because you know what it takes to be a reporter. So, work on the charisma and personality. That's why I said practice, practice, practice. If you don't naturally have it, like some of these girls that we just made, you walk in a room or just that's not your personality, practice. So that when you get in front of the camera, you don't look like a deadbeat. Okay? So, work on that. Some of you need to work on that. All right? Thank you for listening. I appreciate it. Meet with your videographer / editor. Meet with your videographer / editor. Write that down. Meet with your videographer / editor. Why should you meet with them? Yadiel. Why should I meet in pre-production phase? Why should I meet my videographer / editor? You're the reporter. Why should you meet with your videographer / editor? You don't know? Lauren.
Make sure that they know what you're gonna say so they can prepare themselves.
Make sure they know what you're going to say so they can prepare themselves. Eli.
If like you need to switch every single time that you're doing like a different like announcement or whatever, like you know that you can get that with like certain things like results.
Okay. Isaac.
The editor / viewer needs to know what you're doing, what it's about, what your shots you're planning to do.
Okay. Zach.
Your editor should know, like, if your report is about like basketball, they should choose pictures and stuff early and choose like.
Okay. Okay. So when I met with Kate, okay, we talked about her script. I heard her script. Okay. So I knew exactly the direction she was going. We came up with ideas for her script. Okay. And then we practiced. Okay. It's a good idea to write down these things, that's your dialogue. But if you have good memory, if you don't have good memory, you need to write. Okay. But to those of you that you're gonna get a vision in your head after the reporter says certain things of what you want to do, then you don't have to write. I know I'm big on writing, telling you guys to write certain things, but I'm willing to go out on the limb and say, hey, if you're the type of editor that you have enough confidence that, okay, after the reporter tells me what their script is about, I can go back and I know exactly the direction I want to go. Don't write. I'll be willing to say that. Don't write. I knew exactly where I wanted to go with this piece after I spoke with Kate. I didn't write anything down. The reason I teach you to write stuff down is because you should practice that. Because there will be times that you need to write these things down because you will forget. But for a quick weekly report that you have only a limited time to get it done, hey, have the conversation. When you're done talking to them, if you're not filming, go in and start pulling the things you want to use based on what they told you. I knew that I wanted my background to change throughout that entire report. I knew what style of music that I wanted. I knew that I wanted sound effects on the part where we had the officer scene with Kaylee Malik. I knew all of that in my head before I started editing. So that's why it's important for you to meet with your editor / videographer. I knew what shots I wanted. So when I went in that studio, I knew what shots I wanted. I knew I wanted to take her in the studio and put her on the green screen. You have to know all of that before you start filming, before you start editing. Have a vision for your stuff. Okay? I've said a lot of this stuff. Choose pictures, create graphics, choose your music, choose sound effects, decide what type of shots and angles and camera movements you're going to use, and pick your location. Reserve your equipment. So after you have that first meeting with your reporter, reserve the equipment. One of you need to reserve the equipment because you know what you're going to do. So why wait? Okay? One of the things that you guys have to work on is when you walk through that door, you know you only have 3 days throughout the week to get it done. Plus, you're working on shows. So should you come in that door without your script written? So tomorrow, should your script be written? Should you know it? Yes. If you walk through that door and your script's not written tomorrow, you're looking to fail. because that's precious time that you're wasting because you're not prepared. Okay? Time management. Pick a day or time to do these things before it gets too late. Write the word time management big on your paper somewhere. Time management. I'm going to explain time management to you so you understand. We're not going to give a definition per se, but I'm going to explain good time management versus bad time management. Okay? Good time management is this. Okay? I know we have a report that's due on Friday. Okay? Me and Eli are partners. Hey, Eli. Let's not even use that. I knew I had to teach this today. I told Kate Tuesday of last week. That Tuesday that she came in? Tuesday or Wednesday of last week, she came in early to work on something else. I told her then. I said, I need you to be ready by X, Y, and Z. She was ready. We filmed. And I was able to show you this. Same time frame that you guys have, which is a week. And you're able to see the final product. Okay? So good time management is me saying, okay, I'm going to work on this. I'm going to communicate. I'm going to tell her what I need. She's going to work on her script. She's going to give me her script. We're going to start pulling in things that we want to do. We're going to practice it. We're going to time it out. That's one of the things you need to do in pre-production. Write it down. You need to time out your stuff. How do I know it's a minute long? Practice with your recorder and time it out. If you don't time out what you're supposed to do, you will always miss the mark. Always. But if I sit down with my partner and I say, okay, say your stuff in front of me. And they say it in front of you, and you time them when they say it, you can tell them, hey, slow down. Hey, do this. Hey, do that. Hey, take a pause at that part. And that's what I did with Kate. But y'all did it in different takes. Absolutely. But at the same time, I knew she was going to meet the mark. Okay? So, ways to do this. Bad time management is we wait till the last minute to do everything. We come in the room on Tuesday and we're not ready. We're writing our scripts. And then Chase says, hey, you're in my show. I need you to do stuff for my show. Now I got to get ready for his show because I'm not prepared for his show. And now time is wasted again because I just remembered, oh yeah, I got to do Chase's show. I've already wrote that script, but now I can't write my weekly report script. When you go home, that's your time to write your script. At home. Not in here, at home. That's good time management. Coming in here, ready to film. This should be production time, not pre-production time. Now, let's say you have nothing to do. That seems to happen a lot in here. Plan for the next one. Huh? Good time management. Bad time management is say, I've got nothing to do, so I'm just going to sit here and take up space and waste time because I've got nothing to do. Bad time management. So you're now going to wait, and then what happens? Mr. Wall teaches on Mondays. So you still have Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Well, you didn't give us enough time. Yes, I did. Remember when you had nothing to do? What could you have been doing then? Preparing pre-production for the next report. I really hope you guys are hearing me because I'm trying to show you guys how to do these reports and do them well because at the end of the day, these reports are supposed to help your shows. So if Isaac gets stumped on an idea for a report, he can say, hey, I don't have an idea for a report. Let's go through the server. Let's see who has a good report. I want to take a report from this class. I'm going to take a report from that class. Can I take a report from that class? Isaac, let me check. I think it's okay, but let me check with them. I check with them. They say yes. Isaac has a report. The report's done. What does Isaac have to do? Anchoring. How much editing is that going to take him? Not much. Show's done. That's what this is for, guys. Okay? That's one of the reasons we're doing this. One of the reasons. So come to class prepared. Learn your partner's strengths and weakness. Learn your partner's strengths and weakness. Okay? So if I know that Alexia is not good at script writing, and I am, but she's an amazing editor, okay? And I want her to anchor or I want her to do one of the reports and she's okay with doing that, then I'm going to help her write the script. I'm not going to say, burn and die, you write your own script. Why? Because that's your grade as well. So if she sucks at writing scripts, don't write it for her, help her. So that you both get a good grade. Okay? Eli, you're talking with me. And I didn't ask you to. Same thing with the editing. If you're not a good editor and it's your turn to edit and your partner's a good editor, they should help you. Don't let you drown. That's a good team. Okay? These tips and for the assignment will be on Moodle and they will also be on, I'll send these out on Remind 101. So it's on the Bill of Rights. I want Bill of Rights, okay? Bill of Rights. I said build, sorry. The report, again, the report is a minute long, okay? There are 10 of them. Which direction are you going to go? Here's my advice to you. Find your main point and find something that the student body don't know. Well, they already know about the Bill of Rights. They probably forgot. Something that you can make creative. You saw what we did creatively. We had an extra student to come in as an officer. That was a creative aspect to the report. So that gets you more points when I grade this because you're being creative. Okay? You're not just stating information and facts. That's boring. Okay? Make sure you slate your video, and that should be 5 seconds. Your TRT, which is total running time. Put that down. TRT means total running time. That total running time, your TRT should be 105. Yes. On the dot. Okay? Whatever I don't finish here, you will get this. Then you can go back and look at some. I added some tips to my lesson. Okay? Don't think everyone should already know the topic. Here's some tips. Don't think everyone should already know the topics. Find the topic and drive the main point home. I said that already. You can add a skit, interaction. I said that. Make it comical. Make it entertaining. So that's something that they will remember. If it's a sad topic, then maybe you won't make it entertaining. But don't make it so sad that everyone is crying all over the place. Just make it something people will remember. Oh, wow, that was really powerful the way they put that together. Okay? I already talked about timing your partner. Make sure your partner has good tone and pitch and tempo. I made sure Kate, Sebastian, had a good tempo. Most of you talk like, blah, 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 blah. That's how you talk. Slow down. Okay? I talked about using correct emotions. As the editor, videographer, it's your job to make sure you choose a perfect location to film. I knew exactly where I wanted to go. Okay? Setting up the studio lighting. All right? Please know how to set these lights up. When you're using the green screen, guys, because some of you are still doing the same thing, and maybe we need to get a tour in there, and I need to actually show you, and I'll probably do that one day. You should be at least 10 feet away from the wall. Well, you used to say 6 feet. It's 10 now. With using these lights, it has to be 10 feet. When you're using the green screen, you should be using 2 of the harsh lights. The 2 harsh lighting that when you turn them on, they look like they're going to blind you as soon as you turn them on. those, you should only need 2 of them. The other one should be out of the way and off. The camera should be more closer to this set. You should have you should have the shelf closer to you, and you should have the one big softbox light that's on this set right here. You should be in between those 2 with the camera. If you're nowhere near the shelf and that light that is going up and it's on a boom stand, if you're nowhere near those, you're nowhere near where you're supposed to be with the camera. Okay? So make sure you set your lighting up right. Make sure you set your set up right. If you're using the desk, the old set with the black desk, you can use, I found people using 3 lights. Typically, I've set it up for 2, but I've seen people use all 3 of the lights. You can use them, but please make sure anytime you're recording in there that you have the fluorescent lights on. The fluorescent lights are these lights that are in the ceiling. Okay? These are called fluorescent lights. You need the fluorescent lights on in there anytime you're recording, unless I tell you otherwise. Leave them on, okay? Or your lighting is going to be bad. Same thing over here. If you use the new set, you're using the soft boxes, the lights that are a lot bigger, and they're softer, okay? Always white balance. Make sure you have headphones. Please start bringing your own headphones. I'm not buying headphones. I'd rather use that money for other stuff. Check your equipment before you leave the room. Please. If your reporter is 2 to 4 minutes over the time, or seconds, 2 to 4 seconds, I should say, I need to fix that, over the time, you can blade out different pauses. Kate was actually, her time, after I figured out that she repeated one of her sentences like twice, if I would have left that in there, and along with the long pauses that I had her to practice, she was at 104 without the slate. So I took that one part that she repeated twice, I took that out, I took some of her pauses out, so I bladed those things out. If you're the editor, you kind of know what I'm talking about. If you're not the editor, you'll learn, and I'll actually do it in front of you one day. You can blade those pieces and things out of your report, and you can trim it down so that it is perfectly 105. It's better to go over so that you can cut back than to be under. Does that make sense to everyone? So, you can always trim back. You can't add. A lot of you like to say, if I add a transition, is that going to make it longer? No, it's not. All right? You can trim back, but you can't add. Change the shots. Okay, something you guys been doing really good about that. Add different backgrounds if you use the green screen. I know most of you are typically used to using one background for the whole thing. It added to that when I did that. Add different backgrounds. It changes the emotion and the mood. As the videographer and editor, you're telling a story as well. I know this is not a part of the lesson for this class, but you're telling a story as well. Okay? So change the background. Make sure you turn your snap tool on. How many of the editors know what the snap tool is? Raise your hand if you know what the snap tool is. Nobody. So let me show you. Hurry up. This over here is my snap tool. Right here. Everybody look. Because I don't want to say, where's the snap tool at? Look. You looking? No. No. Okay. The snap tool is when I want to make sure this is 5 seconds long. Okay? 5 seconds and 0 frames. I can snap this into place. Okay? And it will snap into place. If I want to place a graphic and I want it to snap into place, I want to make sure it's lined up so that this graphic right here, sorry, Eli, this graphic right here will not bleed over into the next area, okay? This graphic right here will not bleed over into the next area because it's going to snap right where I want it to end. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay. If you have that on, it's a great tool that will help you out a lot. I know I said don't worry about the frames last time, but in order to get it to be a minute and 5 seconds, you have to worry about the frames. The frames have to be 0, 0. Okay? So, sorry, I'll do this again because some of you probably don't know what that means. This is 5 seconds and 0 frames. It'll be up in a second, but it's saying 5 seconds and 0 frames. Okay? So, you have to have 0 frames in order for it to be the perfect time. Here are things that make things creative. If you're not a creative person, write these tips down. If you're not a creative person, write these tips down. If you don't make your stuff creative and you don't write this down because you're lazy right now, don't get mad if you get a low grade. Keep getting C's and D's and F's because I'm here to give you some tips to help your stuff be creative. All right, visuals. I had a lot of visuals in this piece. A lot of visuals. So visuals are different camera angles, different camera shots. I did a slow zoom in on Kate, if you saw that at the beginning. Okay? Camera movement, that's a camera movement. All right? Adding different video transitions. Sound effects. If you heard the police siren in the background, that's a sound effect. Okay? Pictures and graphics. And then last but not least, music. But knowing how to place that music in there so that it does not overdrown the reporter is key. The music should be heard, not overpowering your reporter. We should hear it, and it should be in there tastefully, but the reporter is the main thing and should be the main focus. Okay? That's what's going to make your report creative.